Now, ministers, we are told, are considering closing what they call a major loophole that allows people to easily change their gender in their passport. To discuss all of this right now is Helen Joyce. She's Director of Advocacy at Sex Matters campaign group. Good morning to you, Helen. Happy New Year.
And to you, Julia.
Thanks so much for this. There's a number of different stories related to all of this, but this is something that Kemi Badenoch, Equalities Minister, an all-round sensible soul, she has identified, hasn't she, that there is this completely random loophole, which, although it takes quite a lot of work, although it's not as much as it used to have a gender recognition certificate, a GRC, to say, look, I'm now living as if I were the opposite sex, or change my gender. You can't change your sex, I need to stress to people. You're born with it, and that's it forever. But basically, you can just apply to get a new passport, change your name, get a doctor to say, yeah, Jane is now John, and then you can have a passport in the, I would say, wrong gender, the wrong sex, and there you go. Why does this loophole need to be closed, do you think?
Well, the first thing to say is that this loophole has been open for way over half a century. People have been able to get the sex marker on their passports and their driving licenses changed since the 1960s, way before gender recognition certificates even existed. And in fact, one of the pieces of evidence that you can use when you're applying for a gender recognition certificate that you are, inverted commas, living as a woman or living as a man, is that you've done this. And it's just paperwork. So, I mean, Kemi knows this very well. She's not, as you say, she's a very sensible woman. So this is all intertwined. All of this falsification of sex markers on official documents is intertwined. And I don't think we can get rid of this one now, because unfortunately it's there in black and white that it's one of the things that you can use for getting rid of a gender recognition certificate. The whole system of falsifying people's sex markers on their records is the problem. And pulling at one bit of it shows you that it's connected to all the others, and that the whole system is rotten.
And this, as you say, and you're quite right to say it's a sex market. On your passport, it says, male or female. Well, you can't change that. You either are male or you are female. That's different from whether you identify as if you were, living as a man if you're a woman, or a woman as a man. So it's actually a lie. I mean, that's the thing that bothers me. The birth certificates and passports are factual documents. This is my legal name. This is where I was born. This is the date I was born. This is the country I was born in. This is my passport number. And I'm a man or a woman. This is useful, factual, official information that is exchanged internationally, and at national borders. And I mean, they don't have, like, my preference for, I don't know, Thai food on it, because it's irrelevant. So why is someone's preference to be treated as if they were the opposite sex? Why should that be on an official fact-based document?
Well, it's this, when first you practice to deceive, like it's a tangled web they've woven here. And the reason is because way back in the 1960s, when doctors started doing operations on people's genitals so that they appeared more like the opposite sex and encouraging them to pretend they were the opposite sex, it was very hard for those people then to cross borders. So they did it on a sort of a case-by-case basis to, inverted commas, be kind.
Yeah.
And now look where we are, that we don't actually have any, proper records. Like, our records of people's sex are broken. We need to fix those.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key thing, isn't it? Look, I was certainly supportive of, people living as transgender being able to have, official documents that recognised what their state, particularly post-surgery. Again, because I thought that was the kind and respectful thing to do. And then, of course, you realise how much it's being exploited and what the implications are for women when our identity is taken. And then we appear to be losing rights. But this is carrying on. I mean, no matter, I think the pushback is starting. I feel 2024 is the year that the pushback is really happening. And I want to talk about sport in 1 minute, but the World Health Organization, they are apparently going to be calling for people to have the right to self-identify as the opposite sex in a global guide to transgender care, basically saying it should be a human right. I mean, World Health Organization haven't got the strongest track record over the last few years, have they? Perhaps they could be worrying about, I don't know, pandemics and things like that rather than something like this. But this is creeping into every single organisation.
It's all connected. It's all the same people pushing the same agenda in all the same places. And until very recently, they've been able to do it without pushback because they've done it in secret. Yeah. Can I just say, Julia, the answer to the passports and driving licenses, the immediate thing the government should do is it should make a statement reminding service providers, these are not reliable records of people's sex, and that if they want to know people's legal sex, they must ask for their birth cert, because those can be changed, but they require a gender recognition certificate to change them, and only 6,000 people have those. So that's the immediate thing that they could do. But the World Health Organization, it's much worse even than what you're saying. They've got this incredibly biased panel of people who have a track record of making basically untrue statements about the evidence base for what they call gender affirming care. That's giving people cross-sex hormones and surgeries and children puberty blockers and so on. And one of the people on that panel has said we should be stopping all children's puberties. We should give all children puberty blockers, so that they can wait until they're old enough to decide what they want to be. I'm not making this up. These people are fringe
This person
weirdos.
is literally insane. I mean, again, bearing in mind, we know the massive impact this has on the development of the brain, the development of bones. I mean, again, people are so casual about this stuff. Like, oh, I want to be kind. But, I mean, I was horrified over the Christmas period to see news of, children as young as 3 years old being referred to the Tavistock, trans clinic. I mean, again, what is going on in parents' minds and what is going on in doctors' minds? A little boy wants to put on, a ballerina's outfit. It doesn't make him trans. It doesn't even make him gay. He's just dressing up. And neither of those are an issue anyway. But it is just bizarre. Why are people listening to the insane people?
It's once you swallow the initial lie, once you believe that people come with a pre-installed gender identity, like a switch that's flicked in your mind, and like occasionally a little boy pops out and the switch is flicked to girl, or vice versa. Like once you believe that, all the rest follows. So it's the initial lie. And what we're seeing now is the consequence of an initial lie cascading through our institutions and breaking everything. And cascading through sport as well. Now, we've seen a massive amount of pushback, haven't we, in cycling and other sports where competitors have gone, no, not playing, not willing to compete against a man with all the height, testosterone and muscle advantage. USA boxing, though, is to allow trans women, i.e. men, to compete against women boxers under certain conditions from this year with a new policy. I mean, we are literally saying it's okay. We're going to make it a sport for men to punch women in the face. I'm not sure this is going to be a good look. No, I mean, their policy has got quite strict criteria in it compared to a lot of other sports. They say that you have to have had the surgery, which of course most trans people don't. They don't do anything with their genitals. They just leave them the way they are. They don't even take hormones, most of them. So most trans women are just very ordinary men who call themselves women. But they also say that you have to have been suppressing your hormones for 4 years. So there's not that many people who fit into that category. So I think what they're doing is they put through a policy to try and get the activists off their back while they're crossing their fingers behind their back and saying, hopefully nothing will actually happen. Yeah, but again, I think this is absolute madness and offensive. Again, it's weakness and, again, putting women's lives at risk in this case. Helen Joyce, you are one of my heroes, as you know, Head of Advocacy at Sex Matters. Thank you very much.